Big ass rat, man. Oh, so it took the everything.
Man, I'm gonna need a hot bath after all of that. What the hell happened here?
Zombies!
They're in movies, television, comics, video games. They're everywhere. When it comes to our pop culture, the living dead truly are unkillable. It doesn't matter whether or not you love The Walking Dead, let's just agree that the thought of flesh-eating corpses roaming our streets looking for food is terrifying. So what if I told you that zombies are real? You might be thinking, this guy is crazy. But as you know, at the heart of every legend, there is a grain of truth. And to get to that grain of truth, we have to go way back in history. What's the oldest zombie movie that comes to your mind? You're probably thinking of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which came out in 1968. This low-budget masterpiece revolutionized the horror genre and manifested the flesh-eating walking corpses, or zombies as we know them today, on the cinematic landscape. This brand of zombie, defying biological death and resurfacing as a brain-hungry monster, may have been unseen before, but George Romero didn't make zombies up out of thin air. One of his inspirations was a movie released 36 years prior called White Zombie. In this early horror flick, Bela Lugosi from Count Dracula fame plays Legendre, a Haitian voodoo master who employs a group of zombies at his sugarcane mill and turns the female protagonist into a zombie, a curse from which the protagonist is only released by the death of Legendre. Oh yeah, watch out for spoilers. The movie came out shortly after the United States occupation of Haiti from 1915 until 1933, throughout which homecoming GIs told stories about these evil magicians and voodoo priests stealing bodies of the recently deceased out of their graves, resurrecting them, and subsequently using these zombies as slaves. Now to close the circle, it's undeniable that these stories inspired White Zombie and the later Night of the Living Dead. And that's just what they are, right? Stories made up by GIs that were confronted with an unfamiliar religion, like in this case voodoo. But terrifyingly, the stories might not be that fictional at all. Because in 1962, a man named Clairvius Narcisse entered the Albert Schweitzer Hospital in the capital of Haiti, suffering from malnutrition as well as high fever and aches all over his body. His condition deteriorated rapidly until he slipped into a coma. 2 days later, on May 2nd of 1962, he was declared dead by 2 attending physicians and his body identified by sisters Angelina and Marie-Claire. The next day, Clairvius was buried by his family close to their village of Lester, and this is where the story should have ended. However, 18 years later, in 1980, Angelina was approached in the village marketplace by a vacant-eyed man claiming to be Clairvius. His family and many villagers recognized him immediately. But how was this possible, 18 years after Clairvius' supposed death? He told them his story of how he was dug up from his grave, beaten to a pulp, bewitched and taken away to a remote sugar plantation where he worked as a slave. And after how his master succumbed to a heart attack, he finally came back to his senses and found his way back to his family. They were ready to believe him. In their eyes, Clairvius was made a zombie. Zombies are an integral part of Haitian rural folklore. It is said that a zombie could be created by a bokor, a sorcerer or witch, by the act of necromancy. The zombie would then remain under control of the bokor and work as his personal slave. People were so afraid of zombies and being turned into one that the Haitian Criminal Code of 1864 even outlawed drugging people into a zombie-like state. The zombie belief, along with the widespread voodoo religion, have their roots in traditions brought to Haiti by enslaved Africans and their subsequent experiences in the New World. The very name zombie shows this, as the 2 possible roots Nzambi and Tsumbi, which stand for God and fetish respectively, both originate from the Congo language. And not just that, there are many more cases like that of Clairvius Narcisse, yet explanations are very scarce. One hypothesis was brought forward by the Canadian ethnobotanist Wade Davis, who visited Haiti in the 1980s specifically to to investigate the zombie folklore and wrote about his adventures in the 1985 book The Serpent and the Rainbow. He claims that a living person can be turned into a zombie by two special powders being introduced into the bloodstream. The first, tetrodotoxin, or TTX for short, is a powerful neurotoxin found in the pufferfish. The second powder consists of delirium drugs like datura. With these substances, the person is first put into an initial death-like state, followed by reawakening, usually after being buried, during which a person is in a psychotic state. According to Waite, it is during this psychosis that a person reconstructs their identity to be that of a zombie. He even suggests that Bocors could keep the zombies in a pharmacologically induced trance for years. Although this hypothesis seems plausible at first, the potions which he acquired from Bocors did not show any pharmacological activity in subsequent lab tests. As it stands now, there is still no all-encompassing explanation of Haiti's possibly very real zombie phenomenon. Scary, isn't it? Well, I actually find this more interesting than scary, and that's why I like researching stuff like this for you guys. So if you're into this, feel free to subscribe and check out the other videos on my channel Mindbending. But that's it for this video. See you soon.